This conference will now be recorded.
Right, let's start the session. So we have seen Visualforce standard components and how to work with standard controller, right? The standard controller, inbuilt controller we have seen, and the UI, the display, how to display the data, right? The presentation layer. So every application in Salesforce is based on MVC architecture. The interface is designed based on model view controller architecture. So you have seen the view part, controller part, and model part. The model is nothing but your object. View is your Visualforce pages and page layout. And controller we have so far seen standard controller, the inbuilt controller. Okay. And we are going to see now Apex controller. It means custom controller, right? So Visualforce page we have created to display the one record at a time, the collections of record. Everything is associating with inbuilt controllers. Now we are going to see how to write, how to associate a class, a Visualforce page with a custom controller, where you will write the business logic using a class, which is called a Apex controller. So your Apex class is called as controller in the VF page, right? Okay, so I have a class here, public class. So I need to associate this class with Visualforce page. So how we are going to do? This is my page. How I'm going to connect this controller and Visualforce page by using an attribute called controller attribute. So I'm going to provide here the name of the class. So that's the first step you will do. So this is my Apex class and this is my Visualforce page. How I'm going to make a relationship between these two different module by using an attribute called controller attribute and give the name of the class. Okay. Now my requirement is to call this method. Now my requirement is to call this method or refer this variable. If you like to refer the variable, say I have one more variable called city. I would like to refer this variable. If any variable you are going to refer from controller, that variable should be a public access modifier variable. so that the variable from the class can be the scope of the variable, other classes can also access this variable. That should be a public variable. That's the first rule, right? What is the next rule? The variable should have a keyword. The variable should have a keyword called get set. Right? See, I can only refer this variable city, not the name, because name is not having a keyword get set, and name is not public variable. Only this variable I can refer in my Visualforce page. How I can refer? We know the format, expression format, exclamatory symbol, city. That's how we are going to refer the variable from the class. See, any variable you are referring, that variable should have a get set keyword, which is called property, which is called as property. How do you call this? This is a variable. This is property. When a variable contains a keyword get semicolon set, it means the variable is called as property. People are able to follow this? The variable is called a property. So when you say property, it means we are making this variable a readable variable or writable variable. We are making this variable readable variable and writable variable. When you say readable variable, when the keyword set is used. When we say writable variable, it means I can assign some value to this variable. I can assign some value to this variable. The variable should have a keyword set. Right? It's like your in an object, custom object, you create a field, you set field level security, right? What type of field level security is set? We call it as FLS. We make a field read only, or right, and we also make the field is editable field. Right? We give the permissions in the field level security for your object field, whether it's a field is a only readable field or editable field. If you don't specify anything at all, it means the field cannot be accessible, cannot be displayed in the page layout, cannot be used by the right. If you disable that read and edit, if you disable read and edit for the field, then what will happen? The user cannot, the profile user cannot read that field, cannot edit that field, right? So you are going to provide access to the field by enabling read and edit access. The similar concept you are going to apply for your class variable, whether the variable is going to be readable variable or editable variable. If both are given, if both keyword is given, it means the city field, the city variable can be accessible by the Visualforce page to pass value. It means to assign a value, to write some value, and the Visualforce page can also get the value from the Apex controller. It can also be readable. The city is readable. The city value field is writable value. People are able to follow this? So property is nothing but a variable with the keyword get set. The variable with the keyword get set to enable the variable as a readable variable and writable variable from the Visualforce page. Okay, so rule 1, variable should be declared public and with get set keyword. So it enables right from VF and Apex. So you can, so that you can read the variable from VF, and you can also assign a value from Visualforce to Apex, right? And you can also assign some value to the variable city, and you can read the variable at the Visualforce page. So it means right now the city variable can be passed by value can be passed from Visualforce page to Apex, from Apex to Visualforce page, when only if it is declared as a getSet property. Only the variable is declared as a getSet property. And now we are going to refer in Visualforce page. We know the format. Any value you are going to, any field or member you are going to refer, you should follow this format, expression format. Okay, so this is a rule. Or there is one more. It should be declared as a getSet, or else getter or setter method. Either it can be a getSet or getter or setter method. Okay, see here how I'm going to write in the form of method. So this can also be expanded as a method. Now this just declare as a variable. It just declare as a variable. Now we are expand this as a method. See how I'm going to expand. First, let's see how to write the getter method. In front of the variable name, I'm going to put a keyword get. This is a method. Got me? In front of the variable name, I put a keyword get, and this is a return type. So we should have some return type here, right? So this is in my class side. This in my class side, and in VF page side, how I am going to refer this? City only. Got me? So what will happen when I execute this statement? The application will try to read this variable. Automatically, the application will look for the Visualforce, which will look into the visual controller side. It means Apex side, whether any variable is declared with the getSet keyword, or any is the variable with the method prefix with get keyword. So it will look for either a property or a getter method. When you are trying to read any variable, right? We know like a get keyword is used to provide a read access to the class member variable. And when you do this statement in your Visualforce page, the application will look for that variable, whether it's declared as a property or any getter method with the same name. The method is the same name prefix with get keyword, right? We are trying to read. It means a getter method should return some value. We're trying to read, so getter method should return some value. The return type can be anything. The return type we are given as a string here. Okay, so string, and we are trying to return some string. So this is a method, right? So this is a method, so you can have your logic here. You can have your logic, right? You can write your business logic. So what is the difference between the right? Generally, you declare as a property. Property doesn't do anything, just a variable declaration. But when there is a need to execute some business logic, when the variable is read, then we'll go for getter method. Am I clear to all of you? So what is a normal variable? How to access? Normal variable we cannot access. That's what the rule to access the variable into Visualforce page. You're going to use getSet keyword. You're going to provide the read access and write access to the variable, unless the Visualforce page cannot have access to the class member variable. Only the members which has getSet keyword or the member that you are going to refer, it should be in the form of getter method. It should be in the form of getter method. People clear with this? We'll see the examples. Okay, mostly you will see the getter setter property. Private variable you cannot access, no? Private variable is always cannot be accessible outside the application. It's only private to your class. Okay. So public integer get age. So we are going to refer this variable in a Visualforce page. Age, right? It's a getter method. Okay. Another approach, it should be like a public integer age get set. The same format you are going to follow. Okay. So like this you are going to refer. In a class, it should be declared as a get set. It means we are setting the access for the variable. Yes, this variable can be read by the Visualforce page. This variable can be used to pass any value from Visualforce page. Got me? So remember, the variable should be a property or getter setter method. Okay. When you say setter method, it means you are going to write something, right? When you say setter method, you are going to write something. So what we discuss here is a getter method, right? Scroll down. Setter method we are talking about. Setter method we are going to assign some value. So the method is not going to return anything. We are going to assign some value. Suppose in my Visualforce page, I'm going to assign some value to a variable, a class member variable name. So what is the rule? It should be a get set property in Visualforce page or else setter method. So how the setter method are going to write? Prefix with the set keyword. We are referring like this. It will have an argument string that's it. Okay, inside which you have logic to get this name and assign to some variable, inside which you can have any type of logic. But what is the how the method is referred is method is referred with the set keyword in front of it. Okay. Or what is the other format? The other format, public string name get set. That's it. Got me? So normally generally you are going to use this format only. But any case, if you like to do some logic when assigned, then go for this type of method. When you do not want to execute some logic, then we just declare that the variable as a automated property. How do you call this? Automated property. It means we are not going to execute any business logic here. We just provide the access to this class member variable to be accessible, to be read from the Visualforce page, and you can also assign value to this variable. We are making it a read and writable variable from the class. So this is how you'll use automated property. Is the one we are going to see now. The examples. People are able to follow this. What is the rule? The variable should be a property in your class, so that I can read the variable and write a value to this variable. Right? It's simple rule. Don't try to see this as a complicated design. This just if you don't declare anything, the variable cannot be read by Visualforce page. You cannot. The variable is not accessible by the Visualforce page. Got me? In order to access this, we are going to use a keyword called getSet. That's it. Variable is providing read access, providing write access. Both are given. It means variable can be read, variable can be readable, and variable can be writable. That's it. Okay, how we are going to refer the variable? In this format, right? Just go with this understanding. So rest of things you will see when we cover certain scenarios. We'll see it later, getter and setter method. We are going to continue this format. People are able to follow this, right?
how is that input text going to access that variable inside get and set? I mean, is that tag by default set works in
Yeah,
such a way?
we are going to see examples, Sharath.
So,
I'll
thanks.
explain that. Yeah. I have a class here. Right. So my Visual Force page is here. Right. The first rule, we're going to associate this Visual Force page with this class. So how we are going to do? We have an attribute in the page component called controller attribute. We have attribute in the page component called controller. So there you are going to refer the custom controller, which is called a custom controller is your Apex class student, right? Now I'm going to refer this variable. How can I refer this variable? This format, right? Simply you can go with this. We are not adding any formatting component like output label or page block section. We are not doing any formatting. That is it. That is depends upon your requirement, right? I'm just trying to display the value. Refer the member class member variable. I cannot do like this, right? Because now the members are just variables, not the property. So when you do like this, what will happen? You will get an error saying like does not, right? There is no property. This application doesn't find the property as name. Doesn't find the property name. You get an error message when you do like this. Okay, why? The name is not the property here. This application couldn't find any of the property as a name here. So what you have to do in order to provide access this variable, we have to declare this variable as a property with the keyword getSet. Got me? Now I can save this. Now I can save this variable. Okay, so that's how you want to declare a variable. Okay, and there is an important consideration here. Whenever the Visual Force page is loaded, see, I named the page as Apex. So whenever the student page is loaded in your it's like a website only, right? Every Visual Force page is like a web page. You are going to preview it, and it's basically as you load any website, we are trying to send a request to the server and get the page and display the content, right? So where is it? Yeah. So when the page is loaded, what will happen? The constructor block will execute first. The constructor block will execute. Every class has a default constructor, right? Every class has a default constructor. Public student. Okay. So every time you load the page, what will happen? A constructor block will execute first. The default constructor block will execute. Got me? So I would like to display some value for the name and age when the page is loaded. Okay, so what I'm going to have, I'm going to have some uh, a hard-coded label, and I do like this. like this, right? What is the thing you have to change here? When the age is referred, that should be a get set. People are good with this? That should be a get set. Okay. So what next we are discussing now? When I need to display some value here. When it is displayed, when the page is loaded, I like to display the value. So we know, like, when the Visualforce page is loaded, the constructor block will execute first. So anything you like to display in the Visualforce page, when the page is loaded, anything you like to display in Visualforce page when the page is loaded, I'm trying to initialize the variable within the constructor. Am I right? So anything we are going to display in the Visualforce page, when the page is loaded, then we are going to handle that logic inside the constructor block itself. Why? What is the reason? Because when the page is loaded, the first method, the first block that's going to be executed is a constructor block. People able to follow this? So I give like this. I initialize the variable. Anything you like to perform when the page is loaded, anything you like to display when the page is loaded, then handle that logic inside the constructor block. Because whenever the page is loaded, the constructor block will be the first block will execute. Will be the first block will execute. Am I clear to all of you? We'll see this example now. I'm clear to all of you, right? The rule is first use constructor controller attribute to refer your class name, and when you are how you are going to refer your class member variables. The member variables should be a property, right? So in this case, whether my class should have only a property? Not necessary. Sometimes the variable is not going to be used by the Visualforce page. Yes, you can have just a class member variable also. You can have just a class member variable. So this variable cannot be accessible, but still we are using this variable within the application. So okay, the class can have a getter setter variables or non-set getter setter variable also. Okay, but rule is only if the member is going to be referred in your Visualforce page to assign a value, to read the value, then you are going to declare this as a property, right? In other case, you can declare without property. It means this variable is only available within the class. People able to follow this? So this is a rule we are going to. This is a rule to design your VF and Apex. Okay. Let's create one class now. I just name the page as property demo for your reference. Okay. Right. So for the first rule, I refer this class in the controller attribute. So controller attribute is used to refer the Apex class. Okay, you cannot refer the standard controller here. Standard controller attribute can only be referred with a standard controller attribute, right? Standard controller class can only be referred with the standard controller attribute. Okay, both cannot be exist in the page. Your Visualforce page, the page component cannot have both the attribute. A page cannot refer the inbuilt controller as well as custom controller. You can only go with any one of these, either standard controller or custom controller. Got me? Right. I'm trying to refer the name from the class. the name from the class I'm trying to refer here. We got some problem, right? It's a unknown property. It means the application couldn't see any of the variable as a property in the class associated. So what is the rule? Get colon set. So now I can save this page. People follow this. Let include some block section and give some label here. No values because we are not assigning any value here. Okay, right. Now I would like to assign some value. Assign some value here. We know, like, when Visualforce page executed, what is the first block is going to execute? The constructor block, right? The constructor block is going to execute first. So when VF is loaded, will execute first. So whatever you like to initialize, keep that. Whatever you like to initialize, whatever the logic you like to perform when the page is loaded, then keep that logic inside the constructor block. So what are you going to do now? We're going to declare a constructor, override the default constructor, right? A method in the name of class without return type is called constructor. The method in the name of class without return type is called constructor. So name, give some name here. So go to the block. Now the value is displayed here. We will follow this. So what about age? Age cannot be referred unless it is a property, right? See, I just give get keyword. So now this variable is a readable variable, and also writable, right? The variable is a readable variable. I can also assign some value, right? Now we'll see how the age can be referred. I add some breakline character now, the HTML breakline character. There is nothing complex here, just a simple tag I included. 2 lines I'm going to include. That's it. Age yes. Now I can able to read the variable, right? Because I given here a readable variable. I declare a variable as a readable variable. When we use the keyword get, when you use the keyword set, it means I can set some value. I can get some value from the apex to VF. When you give set keyword, it means I can also assign some value, right? The value can be assigned within the class or from the Visualforce page, whatever. But variable is a writable variable when you declare a set. Now the age is just declared as a get, so I can able to read the variable. But now I'm trying to assign some value. So what is getting? The variable is not visible for writing operation. The variable is not visible for writing operation, right? That's what I mentioned in the beginning, like a field level security. How do you make a field readable and writable? Similar way, the get set keyword play a role of providing access to the class member variable, whether the member is readable or writable. Okay, so now we declare as a get only. So only variable can be read, but cannot assign any value, cannot set any value. The application cannot set any value either from Visualforce page or within your class. You cannot assign any, write any value into this variable. In order to do that, it should be a, right? So any variable that you are going to read and write, that variable in your class will have this keyword get set. Will have this keyword get set. Right. I'm clear to all of you.
Clear, sir.
You can parallelly try no try writing this class. The variables as property. Okay, name, no, city, salary, and experience. Got me? So try to do this and initialize all the variables with values. Some values initialize, right? You take your own value. So for name, you are going to assign some value, some name, and city. I'm just trying to give some basic example here, like this. Okay, and display the above variables, the above values in a VF page. That's my requirement. Okay, that's my requirement. So name, salary. See the alignment, how we are doing this. So when you work in a project, it's for you're an experienced developer, then you should also take care of readability of the code, right? Readability of the code. It means the application is not just for one person, right? It's for it's a generic entity. So you should have take care of alignment, naming convention, everything. Okay. So controller. So we are going to assign some value here to all the variables. People will try to do like this also. I have seen. It's a very common scenario. Even sometimes, even experienced people also do like this. Okay, don't do like this, right? Have some alignment and variable names keep in small letters. The access modifier start with caps, camel case, upper camel case. Start with small letter and smaller, like that. Some naming convention. years of experience. Okay, something. Right. This is how my class is. So we are going to display this. First, we're going to associate a page with the class employee controller, right? Just a section I'm adding. You need not add section, but just for a UI design, I'm going to add some section. That's all. We're going to refer variable name, city, salary, experience. Okay, adding some breakline character. Else the input will be displayed in a single line, so that I'm adding a breakline character here. Excellent. People are good to this. And everything is case insensitive only, right? But we follow the format of referring in small. Right, this is my page preview. Am I right? Get output like this. Okay, when the page is loaded, would like to initialize the variable, then keep that logic inside the constructor, because the constructor block will execute first. The constructor block will execute first whenever the page is loaded. Right, this is an example, and for this exercise I'll give this code here, Apex class, and your page is here. In your notes you can refer. So let's create one here. With members as below. All right, the members, the product name, price of the product, quantity of the product. And initialize with values as below. Some values. Okay, I'm going to send some values. Right, some value and quantity 3. Product name, price, something, and then display this value. Display the values when a user clicks a button called get product. There's a button called get product. Okay, and initialize the values as below. Okay, let's take a example of display this when the page is loaded. Display the values when the page is loaded. Then I'll go on to the next, and then move on to the next example when the page is loaded. If this is a requirement, then what you will do? When the page is loaded, the value needs to be displayed. Then we are going to initialize all the members in a constructor. Am I right? Oops. I need to create a class. Price. Quantity. Okay. So anything you like to display when the page is loaded, then keep that logic inside a constructor. People are good to this. Something like this. Right. And simply go like this. Product name. We follow this, and then so what is the next thing? Price. Sorry, price. Right. So what will happen now? The value will be displayed when the page is loaded. Right. So let's put this in a section. A page block. Okay, ma? Right. Now requirement is I need to add some button here. I need to add some button here. When I click on the button, the value needs to be displayed. Okay, different set of values. See, when the page is loaded, I just display some value like this, product value, some prices like this, some values, some value initialized values display here, like this. Okay, it's a product name, some price and quantity like this. But when a button click, I would like to display some actual product name, price, quantity, and all. So how to add a button? Command button, get product info. The button name is get product info. Okay, so in order to include a button, what is the rule? We have to include a form tag. Am I right? Right. Right. I have like this. No formatting, ma. We are not working on the formatting now. Okay, so just display the button, and right, the initial, whatever the values initialized in the constructor that get displayed. Right. My requirement is when I click on get info, then all these values must be replaced with the different value. So I'm going to call a method. I'm going to call a method to set the variable, to set the values, void. Okay. I name the method as product data or product details, whatever. So inside which I'm going to assign the values to this variable. Okay. See, let's first set product data. I'm going to set the data. Okay. I'm going to set the data. So product set product data. So that's my method. Okay. That's a method I'm going to call. So this is a method I'm going to call, and when the method is called, I'm going to assign some value here. People are good to this. Assign some value. So we are going to call this method. There is a action attribute. So we're going to call this method like this, right? We know how to refer a method from a command button. Action, that method name, right? So now when user click on the value is changed. So initially when the page is loaded, what happens? When the page is loaded initially, the constructor block executed, we get the value. Okay, but here when a user click on a set button, the value is set here. People are able to follow this? Any question on this? Okay, see here, when I click on this, what happens? The entire page is refreshed. Am I right? When I click on this, the entire page is refreshed. It means the page is reloaded again with the value from the method. Someone is unmuted, right? See, instead of refresh the entire page, I like to refresh only this block alone. How can I do this? You know about the refresh the part of the page? There is an attribute called re-render attribute. There is an attribute in your command button. When a user click on a button, what is the default behavior of the button? Refresh the page. So what happens here? It calls the method, get the right, whatever logic is performed, then the page is refreshed, then you get the values, whatever you assign in the method. But now I do not want to refresh the entire page. I may have multiple, I have different set of sections, different set of data in my page. Why should I reload entire page with the entire page? Instead, I'm only interested to display this, render this block alone. Render this block alone. We can refresh only the particular part of the component by using a re-render attribute. So I'm going to refer here the ID of the block, because we are going to refresh this block alone, right? So give the ID here as argument to the re-render. Now the page is loaded, no values. So only this portion alone is refreshed. People able to see that? See that? So only this portion alone is refreshed. So how to refresh the part of the page? By using re-render attribute. People are good with this?
Sir, I have a question. Why we use getter method then? In
Getter
what
method.
cases?
Where, ma? Here.
No, why we will use getter method? You
Yeah.
use setter
Why do you
method.
use? Yeah, I told you, do not confuse in the beginning. But what is a when you will go for getter method? See, when you declare a variable as a property, we are not performing any logic here. Just an empty block. There is no block for the getter. There is no block for the setter. There is no block. There is no business logic. But when you are going to execute some business logic, whenever the variable is read, then we are going to declare the property as a getter and setter. We expand it. We try to write some business logic. When the variable, when trying to read the variable, do something. Okay,
Okay.
do something. Yeah. When you're trying to read the price, then do some, no, check some another database and get the price and discount it. Then assign a value. Something you'd like to process, something you like to execute. Whenever the variable is read, whenever you assign a value, then go for an expanded block. We go for expanded block, getter or setter. If I'm not doing anything, just read the variable and I'm going to assign or read the variable. I'm not going to perform any logic when the variable is read. Then go with the automated property.
Okay, got it.
Right. Right. I request to all of you as a beginner, just go with the format of declaring the variable as a getter setter property and do the more examples like this. Okay, so display the value in a Visual Post page as loaded. So initialize the values with so what are the values we initialized? Like this. Okay, and declare a method. Product variables. When I say product variable, it's product name, price, and quantity. And display in VF page. When user something like this. Okay, right. So do this. So name as this, industry like this, phone like this. Okay. Then revenue, something like this. Okay. So, and then declare a method called reset to initialize the values. Initialize the values. It means no values should be displayed. When a method called, you should reset all the values with initialize all the member variables. You have a space here, you'll assign a 0 here. Everywhere you assign a space. Some initialization. You're going to do it in a method. Okay. People want to try this? Right. I'll just give a quick try. Customer class, and what are the member variables you are going to declare? Name, public, string, should be a property, right? Similarly, public, string, for me. Right. So what are you going to assign? So the values are going to assign. See, to save time, I just trying to copy paste it, but I suggested do not do this. Similarly, phone number. Phone number is a form of string only. Okay. The phone number always uh, will have a special character also, right? Hyphen. Right. So this is my values are assigned. What is the next thing I told? We have a reset method. To reset all the values. You can reset in different form. You can use it with the null keyword also, right? Null is a keyword which will initialize with initialize a variable with the no values. Don't give the null keyword within the string. This is not the string we are assigning. We are just use the keyword null to initialize the variable. Right. Now this is a class we are going to refer in Visual first. Customer page. All right. We can also try this. What I'm trying to do now? Customer name. Output text. What I'm going to refer here? Name. So we'll follow this. Can you please hold on for a minute?
Hi, anybody get
Right.
line? Okay.
Okay. So a preview is what happens. It goes like this, right? Because a component placed in one column contains two cells. So we are going to making this in a page block section item. Right. So we are going to repeat this for industry, phone, revenue. So get like this. So one column layout. Okay. So let's add one button here. Page block button. Okay. Reset. Right. When it is clicked, then I would like to not to refresh entire page. I like to refresh only this block alone. Right. Then I'm going to call the method. What is the method? Invoke. I make it as reset. So reset method I'm going to call. So we are going to call the method action. So this is a format we'll use. Okay. Let's save this. Right. Right. The command button we are going to use. Then we have to use a form tag. People follow this. So data is previewed, reset is null. Reset, it's null. People able to follow this? So with this, we'll close the session today. So I will upload some examples for you. Give me time. In my second half, I will upload them examples. So it's a night for you. So you can practice these examples, refer once and practice on your own. The new examples I'll upload in the second of my day.
Ranjit, I have one doubt.
Yeah, tell me.
Is it possible to give multiple attributes for that re-render property? Like now we are giving PB, right? Suppose I need to give one more page block section. Is it possible for that?
Yeah, yeah. Yes, yes. You are flexible to write. Yes, declare as many sections, as many method, and multiple sections you can re-render. Yes, you can do that. If you are going to re-render multiple blocks, all you have to do is you have to give that ID with the comma separated. At a time you like to re-render, yeah, refresh more than one component, you have to give with the comma separated. Fine.
Ranjit, one question. Can we have more than one controller in the same page?
No, a controller will only point to one class. If you're going with the multiple controllers, we have a concept called extension that will be discussed later part of the course.
Okay.
Sir, I sent one error.
Yes, Chiranjeev, yeah. I will look into it,
Yes.
Mark. So give me time. Second half, I'll reply. Yesterday, I couldn't find time. I
Okay.
usually reply back students on the no immediately, at least in our time. But yesterday, I
But
couldn't make it. Today, I will
yeah,
make
but
it.
the code was totally same. But why I'm getting that error, I'm not understanding. In the first
Right.
line, it is
I will find it out. Don't worry. I will find and reply back.
okay. Thank
Okay. Right. Happy weekend to all of you. Today is Friday, right? Yeah. We'll meet on Monday, my time again.
Thank you.
Okay. Take care, all of you. Bye.